Yes folks, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, we are not outside on the pitches today. We are here at the Physical Performance Hub, the best place for athletes to train here on the south coast of England. And today I'm going to bring you a video showing you 4 very simple exercises you can do which are really going to help try and prevent a few of those nasty but niggly little injuries you might pick up as footballers and athletes in general. So without much further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we have the reverse Nordics, a really good exercise that's going to help look after our quads. Now, quads are involved in pretty much every action we do as athletes, but certainly as footballers, running, jumping, kicking, sprinting, etc. So we want to make sure they're happy. We want to try and keep them injury-free. And this first one, reverse Nordic, is a good way of doing that. You're going to want a foamy pad, a mat, something that you can kneel on that's going to be a bit more comfortable for you. Try and dig your toes in at the back so you're nice and stable, you're not going anywhere. An important thing is we lock our hips on this one, so we're not going to bend at the hips, we're not going to sit down towards our heels. And try and stay in one nice big long line from our knee all the way up through into our head. So first off, I'm going to go body weight, so I'm just going to put my arms across my shoulders. I'm just going to rock myself back as far as I can go and pull myself back forward. And the feeling I'm going to get is a long sort of stretching feeling in my quads. Might be a bit more intense down here near the kneecaps where the quad starts to sort of insert in and around the knee. And all we're doing is we're strengthening and lengthening the quads and keeping them happy. Like I said, they're really, really important. Now what I'll do, I'll put all the sort of set and rep descriptions in the description below so you can follow those along with you at home, whatever you want it to do. But just make sure you do check that out so you know how to follow these. Don't go too many too soon and all that sort of stuff. But like I said, start off with this body weight, just getting used to that feeling of strengthening and lengthening the quad. And when you're happy to, you can add a bit of extra load through either a plate or a dumbbell. And all you need to do is literally hug it across your chest, like I am now. And back you go, it's the exact same movement, and pull yourself back forward. So that's the first one, that's the reverse Nordic. Really, really good one for looking after our quads. But let's have a look at the next one. So we've looked after the quads, now we're going to look after the hamstrings. You might have seen it before, players running through, sprinting as fast as they can, all of a sudden they shoot up, grab the back of the leg and they've done a hammy. Really annoying thing. Can be quite annoying injuries as well because they can be recurring. So once you've done it once, it can be more likely that you're going to do it again and again and again. So we want to try and prevent hamstring injuries as much as we can. And the way we're going to try and do that is with this exercise now. It's called the bridge, walk out and hold. So it looks something like this. You're going to need a mat because you're going to be down in a glute bridge position, which is something like this. You just drive your hips nice and high, not too high that we arch our back, but into a sort of neutral position, but nice and high so our bum is clear of the floor, okay? Hands just rest on top of your chest like so, and all we're gonna do is slowly but surely walk our feet out to form a long bridge position. Hips are still off the floor, you can see, but all that tension is now going through my hamstrings. So I'm just gonna hold in this position here. This is the beginner level, double leg, just holding in this position, say 10 seconds or so. If we want to, we can then advance it by bringing one foot off the floor and going into a single leg variation. And we're holding that for time, or we can start to do these march movements where you're swapping and transitioning your feet, okay? And that gives us a little bit of respite than holding it for a long time on that single leg, okay? So different variations. When you finish, try if you can, walk your feet back in and drop yourself back down. Okay, but check the description out below. Again, I'll put the beginner, intermediate and advanced levels, but different ways of doing this one. I'd start with the double leg variation at beginner level, certainly if you're newer to this sort of stuff. But we've looked after the hammies, now let's look at the next one. So we've looked after quads, we've looked after our hamstrings, now we're gonna look at our adductors, AKA our groin muscles. Really, really important muscle group, this one for footballers because we do so much change of direction. The groins are sort of responsible for that and take a big brunt of the load when we do all those change of directions as well. Really simple way of sort of strengthening and helping you to maintain that strength in your groin muscles and prevent some of those injuries that might occur is what we call a groin squeeze, a ball squeeze or a foam roller squeeze, hence why I've got these here. So all we're gonna need, a ball or a foam roller, adopt, again, the glute bridge position that we just did with the hamstring one. And all I want to do is I'm going to be lying back in this position, but I'm going to have the ball in between my knees. Try and go in the fleshy bit of your quad rather than the bony bit of your knees. Just have it in between your knees, lie yourself back, hips are on the floor this time, and all I'm going to do is I'm literally going to squeeze and try and pop the ball as hard as I can, 5-second squeeze, and then just relax. Okay, now again, if I'm using the foam roller, best you can, try and use the smoother bit rather than the really knobbly bits. It's going to hurt less. And again, fleshy bit of your quad, lie yourself back, exact same thing, squeeze as hard as you can, try and break it, try and pop it, whatever you want to use, but it wants to be a maximal squeeze, okay? Now, if we want to make it a little bit harder, what we're going to do is we're going to lift our hips off, like we did with the glute bridge and the walkout, like we did in the last one for the hamstrings. Exact same thing, just bring your hips off this time. I've got no anchor here, and I'm just going to squeeze as hard as I can. 5-second hold, and then drop back down. Okay, again, check the description out. I'll make it the beginner, intermediate, advanced levels. But the final one, the advanced level, I just want to show you it. What we're going to do is we're actually going to keep our hips on the floor, but we're going to bring our knees right up and our feet off the floor as well. So we've got literally no anchor now. And I squeeze 5 seconds and you feel it straight away right into the groin and then relax. You can hear the strain in my voice. I'm trying to pop the ball every time I do it, okay? But that's looking after the groin muscles. Let's have a look at the last one. So the final one we're going to look at is a very forgotten about muscle group, and that is our calves. If ever you've had a calf injury or an Achilles injury, you'll know how annoying they are because it's really hard to isolate them because, the minute I step forward, that calf's switching on. So if you've had those injuries, they're really, really annoying. We want to try and prevent them as best we can. And a really easy way of doing that is what we call angled calf raises. You've probably done normal calf raises before, where you just come nice and tall onto your toes, start to really switch your calves on. It's a really good way of doing it. You might have done the seated variations as well. It's a really good way of strengthening our calves. Really, really simple one that's going to get real squeeze, sort of take it on a notch from just those standing calf raises, is the angled variations. And all you need to do is literally get yourself against the wall, walk your feet back, and you're starting in this position here. If I go side on, you'll be able to see that I'm really trying to create that low body angle like I'm about to start an acceleration. Yeah, like I'm about to try and drive through that low body angle that we like to talk about, okay? So find yourself a wall, beginner version. All we're gonna do is a double leg angled calf raise. So really walk your feet back, drop your heels, both heels right down to the floor, drive them nice and high and squeeze at the top. Drop it back down, drive up and hold. Drop it back down, drive up and hold. And we like a little hold at the top. It's gonna increase that sort of activation, really sort of get the calf going as well. Now for the intermediate and the advanced version, we're going to go into one leg, a single leg variation. So again, pushing in, walk your feet back. So I'm going to work off the left foot. So the right foot's going to come off slightly, and you can see that heel's dropped right down to the floor. I'm just going to get ready to go. And as I drive up, my right foot is going to come through like I'm about to start a sprint. Drop it back, up, right onto the toes, right onto the toes, right onto the toes. And again, I can feel that my left calf is really starting to activate now. It's really quite switched on. Advanced version, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to hold it at the top, sort of 3 to 5 seconds. So again, walk yourself back, right foot's coming off, left heel's right down to the floor, and when I'm ready, I drive up and squeeze and hold. 3, 4, 5, drop it back down. Same thing, squeeze and hold. 3, 4, 5. Whew. Not easy. You can hear I'm straining, I'm really like as high as I can be on those toes. Toes are really active, calf's really switched on, and that feeling in my left calf right now is really, really ready to go. So looks after your calves, this one, give it a go. It's a really, really good one for looking after our calves. So there you have it, 4 key exercises with all those variations which you can start implementing straight away to try and prevent some of those annoying little injuries which might come into those key major muscle groups which we need for football. If you haven't already, check out the Physical Performance Hub's website. We're an awesome facility down here on the south coast of England, helping athletes all the time with way more than just the physical performance support in the video I've just shown you. We've got nutrition support, psychology support, as well as the rehab pathway, bringing players back from injury all the time with certain exercises just like the ones I've shown you there. But we offer way more, so check out the website. Just type it into Google, have a little look on Instagram as well. Just type the Physical Performance Hub in there and we will come up. You'll see some of those awesome videos which we try and put out as much as we can. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you ever so much. If you haven't already, sort of subscribe to the channel, like, share these videos, spread the word, get these messages out to more and more players. We might prevent a few more injuries out there, which would be very, very nice. So thank you ever so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.